Chango! I yelled. The axe continued to fall upon Tayo. Chango, listen! My voice cut past the rain, so loud it broke their battle. Tayo's hold gave out, and just as Chango completed his swing, Tayo ducked out the blade's path. He sharply turned to slice at her again, but I leapt out and grabbed him by the nape of his neck, spinning him around to face me. His eyes were murderous, face pulled into a scowl that seemed to have rested there for 1,000 centuries. The only thing that kept me from death was the weight we'd locked against each other, keeping the other at a forearm's length. Chango was trying to leverage all of his strength against me, but for Tayo there was no reserve of mine I wouldn't pull from in order to spare her. I used all of my strength back. Punish me. Leave Tayo out of this. Whatever I've done to displease you is what we must settle alone, Chango. My entire life I've lived in fear of storms. But do you not remember the sacrifice I once made to you? To spare my ship. It wasn't for the riches or fame truly as I'd wished for then, but an assurance. I felt my weight winning over his. An assurance that my ship would not leave me. Because it was my uncle, and without him I would have been abandoned. I would have just been a baby who lived in the time it would take a god, such as yourself, to snap your fingers. Above any storm, I fear being alone. Chango was no longer pushing back against me. The two of us were only holding the other. His gaze had softened. And others fear this too. Tayo, this woman more noble and true to herself than I, has come all this way because she is to ask Oloran a thing I wished I could have asked for my uncle. She wants Oloran to spare her dying husband, and it is I who she trusted to bring her to our Creator. I will not abandon her. I will make sure she gets to him. And if you are to kill me now, then you must promise me you'll take her to him. Sahili, Chango breathed. My ship breached the calm waters, the blue sky open and limitless above. Close your eyes, Chango said, and I listened. I awoke standing on a rickety pier, unsure if eons had passed, or if I'd just survived the storm. The wood below was dark in the places it still needed drying from rain. Above me were light gray clouds punctuated by a blue sky, and between them still, the most vibrant rainbow I'd ever seen. To my back was a man who sat on the floor, robed in so much cloth I could not see his face. El Capitan stood on his shoulder. On my right was Tayo, who faced me, tears drying on her round cheeks. The man looked over a tin bowl, its insides coated in charcoal, 3 gold coins laying in the mess. He sighed, his voice teasing up the hairs on the back of my neck. This is the first time this has happened. What do you mean? I asked. What I mean is that Elegua, Nyanza, and Chango have all cast their vote on you. The robed man stood, shorter than me. First, Tayo, let me hear your question. Tayo wound her eyes shut and shook her head, nervous. I realized we were in front of Oloran, that Chango had gotten us here. Tayo choked. I'm asking you to spare my husband. He is in agony, and though the world's people do not worship you at shrines or altars, as you come only for a single part of us, Oloran, I'm prepared. Her lips trembled, her eyes fluttering open to look at me. I'm prepared to give you my life in exchange for Macario's. Her words cut deeper than any axe, burned more than any rope. I understood why the sea could not hold her grief. I'm sorry, she mouthed to me.